Okay, I've finalised my League Two predictions for 2025-26. Now, this was really difficult to do. I did do my early predictions last month, I think it was about 6 weeks ago now, and I'm going to remind you of the position I put the teams in. So, from top to bottom, I had Barnet as the champions. There's a reason for that, and I'm going to go through that in a bit. Notts County second. I had Chesterfield going up in third. In the playoffs, I had Oldham, MK Dons, Walsall and Salford. I had Swindon 8th, Gillingham 9th, Bristol Rovers 10th, Colchester 11th, Cambridge 12th. I then had Crewe, Barrow, Grimsby, Shrewsbury, with Tranmere, Fleetwood, Crawley 17th, 18th, 19th. I had Cheltenham, Accrington and Bromley surviving relegation, with Newport and Harrogate going down. So I've had a look at the transfers that each team's brought in, or lack of transfers. I've had another look at last season's table, the squad size, and basically had a little look into each team. There are very few that have stayed in the same position. I think there's only 4 teams that have retained the position that I initially put them in, which tells you how difficult it is to predict the League Two table. So drop your predictions down below. Also, let me know if you think that mine are wrong, because let's face it, they will be, won't they? So, last time I went through the teams alphabetically. This time I'm going to go through them from bottom to top, but I'm going to base that bottom to top on my last prediction. I'm then going to talk about why I've changed it, or why I've left the team the same. So let's talk first about Harrogate Town, who I put 24th place. Harrogate are one of the 4 teams that I've left in the same position. I still think, looking at everybody else's squad, nothing major in the transfer window, no major players in. Last season they were fairly comfortable, but I think the bottom half of the league seems to have got stronger, whereas the top half of the league probably got a little bit weaker, which in a sense makes both ends of the table really close. So with nothing major to convince me that Harrogate are going to stay up, I've got Harrogate Town staying in 24th place and going down. So that's the first of them, Harrogate Town 24th and relegated. 23rd, I put Newport County going down. Now, Newport County have had a really busy transfer window. They appear to have brought lots of players in, but looking at the players that they have brought in, it appears to be a lot of young players. So, have they recruited well? Well, I think they've recruited well enough that they're going to stay up just. And I think despite everyone putting them bottom of the table, I think there's sort of a bit of positivity coming out of Newport County at the moment. I know they actually play today in the Carabao Cup away at Barnet, and I think their Carabao Cup campaign is going to be short. I think they'll lose at Barnet, but that might be a positive thing. They might not want to get caught up in cup competitions. So Newport County for me have moved up 1 place. I had them 23rd previously. I've got them 22nd now and staying up. But that relegation battle is going to be so close. So after Newport County, I had Bromley, who are in their 2nd season. Does Newport staying up mean that Bromley go down? No major transfer business, but they were very comfortable last season in 11th. A lot of teams you see do suffer with 2nd season syndrome. I think that is going to be the case a little bit for Bromley, but I think we saw last season that they've got a strong enough squad to stay in the division. I don't think it's going to be Bromley that drop out of the league in Newport's place. So I had Bromley 22nd before. I've put them up 1 place. I've now got Bromley in 21st. And they've stayed up again. Would that be successful? If you're a Bromley fan, let me know in the comments. Would you be happy with a 21st place finish? That's down, is it 10 places? Down 10 places from last season. it's a drop off, but they're still safe. After Bromley, we've got Accrington Stanley. I put them in 21st place. Now, Accrington Stanley have had alarmingly little business in the transfer window. And as I said, I think the bottom of this division has strengthened. And I don't think Accrington Stanley really have strengthened. So they are the team that are going to drop out of the Football League, in my opinion. So I've put Accrington from 21st. I've put them now down into 23rd. So the bottom four remains exactly the same. The four teams at the bottom are the same. They're just not in the same order. Accrington down 2 places, 23rd. So you've got Accrington Stanley and Harrogate Town going down. Now, one of the teams that I think are going to stay roughly in the same place is Cheltenham Town. And they're another side that I haven't seen. I don't think they've done enough really to strengthen or improve their league position. But also, I don't really think they're going to be troubled with that mess at the bottom. I think those 4 teams at the bottom are going to be, for large portions of the season, I think those teams are going to be the relegation threatened teams. Cheltenham haven't moved at all. They've gone from 20th to 20th, so I've got Cheltenham Town staying exactly where they were, 20th place. And after Cheltenham, we have the first of the relegated sides from last season. We got Crawley Town. I put them 19th. I got a few comments for putting Crawley 19th that I'm wrong, that they finished the season strong despite going down. I can just see a lot of departures from Crawley. I know they've signed Harry McCurdy from Bromley, but I'm not sure what an impact he's really going to make. I think I have revised their league position. I think that putting them 19th was a bit harsh given how they finished last season. Like I said, they did go down. They did finish the season fairly strong. I think had there been 5 or 6 more games, they may have stayed up. I still don't think Crawley are going to make that much of an impact on League 2. They might shock me. You'll see why when we get up to sort of 3rd all the way down to 10th or 11th is going to be super close like it was last season. So Crawley for me moved from 19th and they move up to 15th. So they're up 4 places from my previous prediction. And then we go to another team I think I was maybe harsh on is Fleetwood Town. I put them in 18th. They've signed a lot of experience in the transfer window. They've signed Ched Evans and they've signed Norwood from Oldham. A lot of experience. Clinical forwards. I think there's a lot of goals there in that squad. Again, I don't think Fleetwood Town are going to be strong enough to compete amongst the playoff places, but with the division being so close again, they could break into it. So Fleetwood Town go from 18th for me up to 13th. So they've got the biggest change so far. They're up 5 places from my previous prediction. So Fleetwood Town in 13th place moves us to the team that I put 17th, which was Tranmere Rovers. Very busy transfer window. Loads of players in, loads of players out. Have they recruited well? Have they not recruited well? Not well enough to make massive impact on this league, but too strong to go down. So Tranmere for me will finish 16th, and that's up 1 place from my previous prediction. So moving on to Shrewsbury Town, who I put 16th. They've brought Sam Clucas in, who's been about. They've got Tom Sang from Port Vale. I don't think Shrewsbury were abysmal last season. They were down. They were in that relegation zone for the majority of the season. Didn't really show any signs of staying up. I think putting them above Crawley in my previous prediction was maybe harsh on Crawley. I don't think Shrewsbury are going to be that good. I think they really need a consolidation season in this league, and I've dropped them down 3 places actually. I've got them in 19th place. So Shrewsbury from 16th to 19th. Safe though. Shrewsbury Town 19th. which brings us to Grimsby Town. Another team who's had a busy window, but there's so many sides in League Two that have strengthened their squads, and there's so many changes, like you'll see with the ridiculous number of teams that I've moved around. So Grimsby have had a busy window. They're again another one of those sides that I can't really see making a massive impact on the league. I've got them down 3 places as well. So I've got Grimsby Town in 18th. But now we're coming into the territory of teams that could push into the playoffs quite easily, because I feel the top to the middle, maybe the top 4, 5 are going to be quite far clear of the rest, but the top to middle of the table is going to be really strong. So we've just talked about Grimsby 18th. Moving on to Barrow, who I put 14th. Another side that's had a lot of players in. Impact players, not sure. Another side that were comfortable last season, I think are probably going to be comfortable again this season. Maybe not quite so comfortable. Barrow were 14th in my previous prediction. I've got Barrow 17th in this one. So Tranmere leapfrog all of those teams. Barrow, Grimsby and Shrewsbury are all down 3 places, because Crawley have jumped above them as well. So after Barrow, I put Crewe Alexandra in 13th place. Now I think Crewe they've had a busy window, but they've signed very well. They've signed 2 decent strikers in Tesgale from Stoke and Lewis Malt. So I think there's goals in that team. And I think Crewe, if they get off to a good start, they could be in amongst the promotion places. This really is going to be a super close league. So they could be anywhere from about 13th to 3rd or 4th. It's a very close league. So with those 2 forwards coming in, I wanted to move them higher in the table, but I don't think I could have put them above any more of the teams than I did. So I've moved Crewe from 13th, and it's quite underwhelming really. They've only moved up 2 places. They've gone up to 11th, so Crewe up 2 places. Could be an outside chance for promotion though, I think, with the changes they've made. So that's the bottom half of my previous prediction done. We've got Cambridge United next. Busy window. Shane McLaughlin from Newport in. I think Mpanzu from Luton is the big signing they've made. It's a decent one for them. So I put Cambridge 12th. Again, I got a few comments about putting Cambridge 12th. And I think the people who made the comments are probably right. Cambridge squad is stronger than 12th place in League 2. Is it strong enough to get into the playoffs? Yes. Will they get into the playoffs? No, they won't. I think they're going to miss out just. This is going to be really close. So Cambridge move from 12th. They go up to 9th. So a difference of 3 places, 3 positive places, as Cambridge United finish 9th. There are so many good teams in this league. You look at League 2 and you think there's no one really that stands out, and that's why it's going to be such a good league this season, because no one really stands out. Obviously MK Dons they've smashed it really in the transfer window. After Cambridge I've got Colchester United. Not massively busy, but they have kept most of their squad from what has to be a successful season in League 2 after a lot of people, including myself, tipped them to go down last season. I put Colchester 11th. They finished 10th last season. I have dropped them down a little bit based on the other teams' transfer windows. So I've dropped Colchester United to 14th place. And then moving on to Bristol Rovers. Again, I got a few comments about Bristol Rovers' position in the league, putting them 10th and putting them outside the playoffs. Bristol Rovers, I think I was a little harsh on some of the teams that came down. because I think there isn't much difference between the bottom of League One and the top of League Two. So I think maybe I underestimated some of the teams that came down. I do think Bristol Rovers, with the added Luke Southwood in from Bolton, from the league above, I do think Bristol Rovers are going to be in amongst the playoff places. That's not just because I had comments. Looking into the squads, I think they would have stayed up if it wasn't for Burton Albion's great escape. So I've put Bristol Rovers in 5th. So playoff place for Bristol Rovers, up 5 places from my previous prediction, which brings us to Gillingham. Now, a lot of people are tipping Gillingham to have a good season. They had an awful season last season. They ended up 17th. Not massively busy in the transfer window. Do they need to be? I think they have got a strong squad that didn't really reflect on their league position last season, 17th place. But I don't think Gillingham are going to get into the playoffs. I think they're going to narrowly miss out. So I've got Gillingham in 8th. So up 1 place from my previous one, Gillingham 8th. We then have Swindon Town. So many players in for Swindon Town. I had them just missing out in the playoffs. I had them at 8th in my last prediction. They were 12th in last season. They were 12th. I think they put together quite a good run towards the end of the season, and they sort of ran out of games. I do think Swindon are going to have a strong start to the season, and I think they probably will get into the playoffs this season. I had them just outside last time. I've got Swindon up 2 places, and I've got them in 6th, which would place them against Bristol Rovers in the playoffs. It'd be a decent playoff. If that happens, I'll probably have to try and get to that. So now we have the teams that I placed in the top 7. So playoffs and promotion. I had Salford City in 7th. Now they've signed Jay Bird from Exeter, who was on loan at Rochdale last season. Other than that, I think it's fairly underwhelming from Salford City. They brought a few loan players in, including Matthew Young from Sunderland, who I believe is on loan, the goalkeeper. 7th last season. 10th or 7th in my last prediction. They were actually 8th last season, so they did miss out on the playoffs last season. I put them 7th last time. I've got them 10th this time, based on the other teams strengthening in the last month or so. But I think they're 10th and 3 places outside the playoffs. But it could be less than 3 points. It could be 1 point outside the playoffs. So Salford City 10th brings us to Walsall. Finished 4th after being miles clear in February. It looked as though they were gone. No one was going to catch them. 3 teams caught them. 3 teams overtook them. They ended up 4th. I put Walsall in 6th in my last prediction. I think they are going to be in amongst the playoff places, but I think they're going to have to really fight to get into the playoffs. So I've got them just finishing in the playoffs. And the reason why I think they will get into the playoffs is they've signed Vince Harper from Exeter, which is a brilliant signing for them. He works hard, he's got pace, he's a good finisher. I just think there wasn't really room for him in that Exeter squad, so he's dropped down to League Two. I think he'll score a lot of goals and cause a lot of threat for Walsall. That's the only reason I've got them still in the playoffs, so I've got them in 7th place. After Walsall, we have MK Dons, who seem to be the busiest of the teams. They've signed Callum Patterson, Mendes Lang, Aaron Collins. They're ambitious, bringing in lots of players from leagues above. They're massive favourites to go up as champions. I just don't think they had such a terrible season last season in 19th. I just don't think they're going to improve it that much. I had them 5th last time. I do think that it's ultimate failure if MK Dons don't get promoted with the signings they've made. And I think it will be very close. but I think they probably will go up. I haven't got them first though. I've got them in third, so they face a battle. So MK Dons third from fifth, so up two. So from the playoffs, I've got them going up automatically. So after MK Dons, there's a club that I think I maybe overestimated because I'd seen them in the playoffs twice, and that's Oldham Athletic. They have a strong squad anyway that's going to be strong enough to compete in League Two. Lots of players out. Jürgen Nathan's loan ended. Mark Kitching has gone to York. I just think maybe Oldham the season starts this weekend. I just think maybe Oldham haven't had the strong transfer window that they're going to need in order to push them that high up the table. I think they are good enough to not be troubled by the bottom half. Oldham Athletic fans are going to be annoyed with me here because I put them going up through the playoffs. And they are the club that I have seen the most difference in terms of places dropped or gained. So I had Oldham 4th before. I've dropped them down to 12th. So I've dropped Oldham down 8 places. And that is just, again, because I think the teams in the middle of the league have strengthened, whereas Oldham have kept a few of the players, but I think the players that they've lost are maybe stronger than the players they've brought in. Oldham 12th, and I don't think they'd be disappointed with that. The teams that come up generally do well. Oldham will probably finish 4th and win the playoffs now because I've moved them from that. How about the top 3 then? In my previous prediction, the top 3 were Barnet, Notts County, Chesterfield. So let's go to 3rd with Chesterfield. Strong squad anyway. Mickey Mellon is building something really positive. Sorry, Mickey Mellon is Oldham, isn't he? So Chesterfield have a strong squad. Who's the Chesterfield manager? Why can I not think of the Chesterfield manager's name? So I had Chesterfield in 3rd, and I think they are going to be competing for the top 3. But I think based on the signings that MK Dons have made, they're going to miss out. Again, it could be as close as goal difference. You could even see Bristol Rovers dropping into 3rd. It's going to be a really close league. So Chesterfield 4th, down 1 place. You might notice I haven't moved anyone to 1st or 2nd because my 1st and 2nd stayed the same. I had Notts County 2nd. They've brought in Maz Kuyar from York City. They've brought in Oliver Norburn from Blackpool. They lost McGoldrick. Was that a big loss? Yes. Have they recruited well? Yes. Are they one of the biggest clubs in this league? Without a doubt. I just can't see anything other than Notts County winning promotion this season. They've changed the management as well. Notts County going up 2nd place. So that leaves Barnet. So I put Barnet 1st based on the squad that they built last season. They've been very busy in the transfer window. I don't think they massively needed to be. I think they've got a fantastic squad anyway. They've got a really attacking squad. And I just think they're a club they really are moving in the right direction, Barnet. They looked lethal. I saw them twice last season. I saw them at Exeter in the FA Cup first round. They lost 5-3, but they were lethal going forward. I think they had 3 chances and scored 3 goals. I saw them play Chelmsford in the 4th qualifying round. Chelmsford weaker opposition, but they weren't that weak. Barnet beat them 4-0, made it look easy. And I just think, particularly if they get off to a good start, they are going to push on and see a double promotion. So, Barnet win the title. Barnet go up as champions. What do you think of those predictions? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribed to this channel, as I'm going to be doing a lot of live streams this season. I have got the next live stream coming on Monday, which is going to predict the next week's worth of games. I was going to do just Monday to Friday, but there aren't that many games. So it'll be Monday to Sunday. My cat is making an appearance there. So to recap, Barnet champions, Notts County runners-up, MK Dons promoted in third, Chesterfield, Bristol Rovers, Swindon and Walsall in the playoffs. I'm going to say Bristol Rovers win the playoffs. We've then got Gillingham, Cambridge, Salford making up the top 10, with Crewe 11th, Oldham 12th, Fleetwood 13th, Colchester 14th, Crawley 15th, Tranmere 16th, Barrow 17th, Grimsby 18th, and then towards the bottom, Shrewsbury and Cheltenham 19th, 20th. The relegation battle will be between the bottom four. I've got Bromley and Newport staying up, with Accrington Stanley and Harrogate Town dropping into the National League. So let me know in the comments what your predictions are. Let me know if you think this one is better than the last one I did about 6 weeks ago. I will link my early predictions in the description under this video. So thanks for watching. I am at Lye Meadow, Alvechurch tonight to watch Alvechurch against Hereford FC. I'm really excited to feature my own club on this channel. I'll be posting the matchday vlog at some point tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.